Hey YouTube, it's your girl Dr. J, and today's video is going to be an introduction to what we are doing for the 2015-2016 school year for language arts for my twins in 3rd grade. Language arts for us is a really big category. It includes reading, writing, and spelling. And just to give you a background of the twins, just a reminder for some people that may be new to my channel, my kids are dyslexic. All three are dyslexic, so the twins are dyslexic, and they're also gifted. And so that creates more of sometimes it can be harder to deal with, because a lot of times when you have materials that were created for students that are struggling with reading, there's often an assumption that there's a reading comprehension issue as well. The twins have 0 reading comprehension issues. They actually do phenomenal in reading comprehension. They also have very extensive vocabularies. And so I have to do a lot of finagling to find a program that's going to fit. We've done a lot of intensive remediation for them in the past. The past 3 years, we worked on reading really, really hard. As a result, they both read on grade level. But we're still going to be going through continuing with some intensive phonics work and reading work, because they're in upper elementary now. In K through 2nd, lower elementary, things are really all about learning to read, okay? And so the focus is on learning to read. But when you hit upper elementary and beyond, you stop learning to read and you start reading to learn. So reading becomes a much more important part of your learning experience, because so many things are book heavy, so many things are word heavy. And so I've told my kids, tell myself, because I am a severe dyslexic myself, and I try to share with other people as much as possible to always remember that dyslexia, it does not go away. You are always going to be dyslexic. You can remediate it. There are definitely things that you can do to help yourself become a very good reader. There are things you can do to help yourself become a speller. I have not met a dyslexic that was a great speller, but I've met dyslexics that can spell. I can spell enough where spell checker can help me most of the time, but those things they just don't go away. And so you have to take the good with the bad with dyslexia. Thankfully, dyslexia has a ton of goods, and we concentrate a lot on those goods in our homeschool. But before I show you these things, I really wanted to point out that we've done a lot of intensive work with the twins to get them reading at grade level. So when I show you the things, I don't want people to go, oh, I can just jump into that. You may be able to, but we didn't just jump into these things. They completely finished the Easy Read program based out of the UK. They did Reading Horizons. We did some work with Bob Books. We've done Reading Assistant. They still work on Reading Assistant every once in a while, and that's why they're reading where they should be, which is finished with 2nd grade level and your first day of 3rd grade. So they read where they should be reading that first day of 3rd grade. But in order for them at the end of the year to be reading where they should be reading at that last day of 3rd grade, we're still going to have to hit reading hard. And so that's what we're doing. So our spine for reading and spelling, okay, that's making sure that they are ending this being absolutely confident readers and appropriate spellers. We are using Understanding the Logic of English Essentials, and it's a systematic approach to reading, spelling, and writing. And it's by Denise Ide. This is the teacher's manual. I really love it because it has everything laid out for you, including the scope and sequence. But one of the things that I wanted to really show was that the book is broken down to tell you how to use the program depending on the type of person that you're dealing with. And so they have one for struggling readers and spellers. So it's 8-year-old to adult students not reading on grade level. So that's not us. Okay, but if you fall into that category, it lets you know how you use the program. I'm using this program also with Speedster, who falls into this particular category, which is struggling spellers. and it's 9-year-old to adult students reading at grade level needing spelling remediation. And then the next category is emergent readers and spellers, and that's 6 to 7-year-olds. And so that's what I'm using. I'm using that for the Wonder Twins because they are 7. They're going to be going into 8, but you know, and even though they're reading, we're, like I said, we're going to hit it really hard again this year. So that's how we're using the program. So this is the teacher's guide. So I have the teacher's guide in hard copy. I have that because it's durable. I sit down at the desk and the twins do the program together, and then Speedster, I just do it one-on-one with him because he's going through it at a different pace. The workbook that the students need, I have that on PDF, and so I just print out the pages that we need. And I really like the workbook because it has pretty much everything that you would need. Like you do phonogram practice, and I'll show you the phonogram cards, and then you have your words, your spelling. It starts to teach you your spelling rules. It talks to you about the different vowels, parts of speech. You have your spelling list. You do a spelling test each lesson, and it has a dictation process that you do where the kids take dictation. You also do some phonogram work. They have games built into the program. They have phonogram practice, and then some more spelling practice. You also have things such as compound words, some grammar. We're not going to use a lot of the grammar because we're going to be using a different grammar program that I'm going to show you guys. But I love the Logic of English because it is so thorough. You don't have to do everything. Like Speedster, he pretty much just only works on the spelling rules and stuff like that because that's all he really needs remediation with. But with the twins, we'll do a lot more of the program. Another thing that I like is that they have, I did purchase also these cards. These are the spelling rule flashcards. I like them because they're big, they're easy to see and read, they're numbered. And so we work through those cards. Another set of cards that we are using a lot, I even use these with Speedster, that's why they're all out of order, is your phonogram cards, where it just has the letter on the front and then the pronunciation on the back. And what this right here, I'm glad I grabbed this card. This is why I love the program. Most phonics programs, when they teach a phonogram, they will say this is S. S says S. Okay, with the Logic of English, they teach this. S says S as in scent, and it says Z as in as. Why? Because about 40% of the time, when a child sees the letter S, it's going to be making that Z sound, the Z sound, especially at the end of plural words. And so if you've taught your child that S says S and that's it, they're going to have trouble reading even a 2-letter word like as. So that's why I love this program. And it goes over, you even go to, you know, multiple letter phonograms. Okay. And how to pronounce those. And so you just go through your flashcards and keep adding them on. And that's something that you do at the beginning of each lesson. And then eventually you get to, like the twins are not here yet. That's why this isn't open. But you'll get to your advanced phonogram flashcards. And so that's an add-on that you can buy with the program. I did choose to buy it with the program. So that's what we're doing for reading and spelling. Another thing that they're going, another part of the program also that we have, this is the handwriting. They have manuscript and cursive. I got cursive. Cursive is great for dyslexics. My kids have done some cursive, just workbooks on the side, but I wanted to do one last round of that for their 3rd grade year. And so, again, this, I got it in PDF because I was going to need 2 copies for both the twins. But another thing that I like was that it has the steps to teaching handwriting. It has tips that you can use when teaching it. The tips are excellent. Talks about transitioning to pencil and paper. And then it also has suggested schedule. So there's a suggested schedule for kids that are 6 and under, and the suggested schedule for kids that are 7 and up. We are using the 7 and up schedule. And so that's another part of the program that I really, really love. For another part of reading, and this is where the twins will be separating out, is that, I'll tell you our schedule in a minute. I'll show you this. Okay, so another aspect of reading is each child will have their own set of reading books. Salamander is using High Noon books, the Sound Out series. So he has the books, he'll read the books, and then he'll do the Sound Out series workbooks. Now, when I purchased these materials, Salamander was just right at that reading at the end of that 2nd grade level. And so I said, okay, I'm going to need to do some really intensive work with him. Well, Salamander did an extreme jump in reading level over the summer, even though we didn't work on reading. And now he probably doesn't need these books, but he's going to do them. Why? Because I purchased the whole doggone program. Y'all see all these books still in plastic? So even though he will be knocking these books out really, really fast, and the reason why I'm still going to have him do it, it's not just because I bought them, because you know what, it's, you know, if I bought it, I could just give it away or whatever. I'm not going to make my child do something just because I purchased it. But I think that they'll do great at building his confidence and showing him how strong of a reader that he is. Because what I find sometimes now is that Salamander will say, would you read this to me? And I'll say, well, why don't you try to read it? And then he'll read it fine with no struggles. And so I see that for him, we still have a confidence issue. And that's going to affect him. So I'm actually still glad that I purchased these, even though he doesn't need it. It's going to be good for him to see how quick he can knock out a book. And he can have a lot more experience reading. And also building some confidence and seeing that he's got this. He knows how to do this. So that's what he's going to be doing for reading. So basically 2 days a week he will read from these books in these series. And 2 days a week he will choose his own book to read from. And so that's how he's doing his kind of supplemental reading. So High Noon books, Sound Out series. Again, 2 days a week he chooses his own book. And then 2 days a week he'll use these books. For Faster Fox, she is a more confident reader, and so what she's going to be doing is reading her little books like these, like the first book is Sassy, and then doing, I think I did a video showing you guys the lap books I put together. The lap books are put together based on Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so what she's going to be doing is reading the books and then using Bloom's taxonomy. That's what each of these sections of the lap book are based on Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so it's just a fun way of doing it. Salamander will be going through Bloom's taxonomy with his books. We'll just be doing that orally. Okay, because it would take him a long time to do the lap books, and so it's just easier for me to work with him and do it orally, and then I'll let him do something else for his writing. That's what we're doing for reading and spelling and writing. Okay, we're going to be doing the logic of English Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll be doing that 2 days a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we're going to be doing grammar, and with grammar we're going to be using Michael Clay Thompson's Grammar Island. The Michael Clay Thompson program is a grammar program. It's off of Royal Fireworks Press. It's designed for gifted children, and so it really works for us. because the books don't have a lot of reading in it. We've actually already started this book. I have the teacher's manual as well. We've already started this, and the twins have been loving it. We didn't hit it as hard because at the end of last school year, just because I wanted to make sure that we got their reading solid. So now that their reading is solid, we can spend a full 2 days a week doing this. We may even go to 3 days a week. That's why I didn't say what we were doing on Friday. And I'll tell you why we will probably add a day with this in a second. But this is the grammar book, and I love it. See, this is the teacher's manual. Let me show you the student book. It's not a ton of words. Okay? Not a lot of words. But everything is clear, it's colored, it's easy. The twins are catching it amazingly. So that's the first part of the program. And it's dealing with like sentence structure. What's a vowel? What's a noun? What's a verb? Adverb, adjective, preposition. We're really right now still on the parts of speech with this book. Another aspect of the book is Sentence Island. Okay, so this is why the grammar piece we're doing with this. And then Sentence Island, it talks about, the structuring of sentences and how to write sentences. And with that, we have, that's my other grammar book. Practice Island. Practice Island is your workbook from your Sentence Island. And basically, it's just one sentence a day that you're going to be doing. It's sort of like diagramming sentences. So this is the first sentence. Okay, busy pelicans constructed nests. And you basically will diagram that sentence. You'll say what is in there. Now, these are blank. Why? Even though I got each child their own workbook, I found that some things we really wanted to not just overwhelm them with writing because they do have dysgraphia. And so I put in some Montessori-based things with that. This is the Montessori chart for grammar, okay? And what I have are these things that correspond with it. For instance, on the chart, you will see that a red circle is a verb. And so here are their red circles. So they will just put a red circle on the verb. And then it will say on the chart that a small orange circle is an adverb. So small orange circles, adverbs. Green little half moons, prepositions. Nouns are black triangles. Adjectives, adverbs, okay? And so instead of writing the sentence out, they can just use their Montessori grammar tokens for those. And then in addition to the chart, I also have laminated these so they can quickly and clearly see, be reminded of what their little things are. And it has, conjunction, nouns, articles, interjections. So this makes it easy for them because all these things are there. So we can do that if I need to pull back on writing. And to teach these, I also have these. I keep these, and we pull these out so I can remind them of the things. But this is your teaching verb, okay? Red circle. And teaching noun, okay, black triangle. And so these are really good to have a visual and hands-on component. So I do that. So sometimes when we're doing our sentence practice, we can use our hands-on manipulatives. Another hands-on manipulative I have for writing is when we are constructing sentences. This is the board. Okay, this is again a Montessori board for writing sentences. Here's the more simple board. So you have, here you are going to put who is that, what is that, and then verb, what are they doing, and to whom or to what. Okay, so that's a simple one. This more complex one, you have who is that, what is that, right? Then your verb, and then to whom and to what. Okay, noun. Okay. This is whom or what, and then this is to whom, to what, for whom, for what, and then here is for what, why, from whom, from what, when, how, by means of whom, by means of what, by whom, by what, where, with whom, or with what. Okay, so it just helps with constructing your sentences to give yourself long, beautiful sentences. And so that board, these are just single recreations of that board. This is more work that we do on the whiteboard. This is why there's magnets, because I have magnetic whiteboard, and so we'll just construct our sentences using these. So we'll start with that verb. Then we have our nouns. Our big subject. What's the subject? And then what did they do something for? Why? Whom? And then, like I said, I have my magnets on the back, so we can play around with constructing sentences on the whiteboard, again, to keep them from having to write a whole lot. And then these are the ones to use with the smaller board. Okay. So this is where we start with simple sentences, and then we can go to our more complex sentences with the other box I showed you. Here's just another version of that box. Okay, by whom, by what, but there's a word on the back, and it's the agent. Okay, so from whom, from what, they will know that is the source. Okay, for what, when we're answering the for what are we doing? We're stating the purpose. When we answer how, what are we doing? We're talking about the manner in which something was done. Whom or what are we really talking about? The direct object. To whom, to what, for whom, for what is that really? The indirect object. So these work absolutely fabulously with Michael Clay Thompson. And then this last section, it doesn't give them the teaser. It just says, what's your direct object? What's the cause? Do you have your cause up there? Do you have your source up there? Do you have your attributive up there? And there's no cheat on the back to let you know what it is. And so that's that last step in the grammar writing process. So that's what we're doing for grammar. And I talked about we're doing it on the whiteboard, but I said that we're not going to be doing a lot of writing. Well, how are we going to do that? With magnetic words, guys. Okay, so everybody's used to the more simple ones. Apple, old, Saturday, but I got a bunch of the kits, like the poetry, magnetic poetry kits, because it gave me more complicated words like admonition. Birthday, that's a more simple one. But things like laughter, evening, anyway, balloon, imagine, mistake, because, kangaroo, through. Okay, so we have and I have tons of these. Okay, we haven't used all of them, but some of the words are just like, this is one sheet that we haven't used yet, but you can see the type of words in there. So they, you know, hands-on, I really want, I hope that I'm showing you guys that hands-on and manipulative based learning, it doesn't mean that it has to be simple, and it doesn't mean that it has to be baby-like or only for lower elementary and stuff like that. You can keep doing hands-on, especially if you have kids like mine that have dysgraphia, so writing is going to be a struggle. Another thing that we're going to be doing, that we're going to be continuing, is one of the things that my kids do. They have some eye issues. They were in vision therapy for over a year, and we're still working on some eye issues. But what we're doing is things like this. This is sentence tracking. I got this from High Noon Books. It is academic therapy, and what it does is, and I just do these on a separate sheet of paper so that I can keep reusing these over and over again. So I copy the sheet of paper, and or I just write the things in there instead of writing it on the paper. But the sentence is, the first day at school seems short. And so what they have to do is they have to go through and they have to find the first day at school seemed short. And you time how many minutes and how many seconds does it take them to do this, to find the words. The reason why you have to do that is because when you have, a lot of times with dyslexics, but especially those that have eye tracking and eye teaming issues, they line skip. And so this forces them to look at every line, because if you line skip, you're going to miss a word, and you have to find the words in order. So you time that. We also have number tracking, and it's doing the exact same thing, where you have to, like with this one, you have to find the numbers in order. So you have to look, and first you have to find 1, then 2, then you have to go down and find 3, then you have to be able, you know, so you basically have to find those numbers in order, and you track minutes and seconds, and it gets more complicated. Okay, so the higher the level, the more numbers you have. And then it also does some letter tracking. And then as it gets more complicated, the lines start being a little bit more funky looking. So we have this. This I got from Royal Fireworks Press, and it was in a kit that also came with this book that we're still using. And it is Developing Your Child for Success, and it is 103 activities with over 360 individual procedures and illustrations. And so what you do is it's helping them with getting rid of those retained reflexes. My kids have physical therapy to get rid of retained reflexes, but sometimes it tries to kick back in, and so we deal with that. Faster Fox is still dealing with left-right issues as far as body control. She knows her left from her right, but sometimes she has really severe body control issues where that left and right side doesn't do exactly what she wants it to do. So this is one of the things that we'll do. We'll do pattern hopping. And what I love is that it tells you what's the purpose. The purpose of this particular activity is motor. What materials do you need? None. What method? The child will do the following instructions. So it tells you for level 1, what do you do for level 1? What do you do for level 2? What do you do for level 3? And what do you do for level 4? And for this motor activity for level 4, it says have the child facing away from you, clap a pattern. He or she is to alternate feet and call out which foot he or she is hopping on as he hops to the pattern. For example, clap, pause, clap, clap. He would hop and call out right, pause, left, right. Okay, so it's just really helping them get more control. Another one that we do is an activity for pencil grip. And it's a visual, it tells you the purpose, pencil grip relaxation. The purpose is visual motor, and the materials you need are pencil and paper. And what do you do? It says these activities are designed for the child who has a tight pencil grip or seems very tense when reading or writing. And again, that was Faster Fox. Even though I would tell her, don't hold it so hard, don't push so hard, she still was doing it. And then I found out that she wasn't disobeying me. She wasn't trying to be, well, I didn't think she was disobeying me anyway. But like, what I'm trying to say is sometimes we may, as the adult, think that something is really easy to correct. But if your child is still struggling with it after you've given them a reasonable amount of prodding, then sometimes there's something else and they need a little bit more. So I couldn't just, what this activity showed me is that it wasn't, she didn't understand what I was saying when I said don't press so hard, because her brain was not telling her just how hard she was gripping or just how hard she was pressing. And so the activity really helped her to see that. And so for this one, it says it's a level 2 activity. It says have the child sit in a chair and at your command make a fist as tightly as you can. Have him hold it for a count of 10. Then have him relax his fist for a count of 10. Have him do this 5 times. And what it does is it makes you aware that he needs to relax when writing. So if you grip it tight, you say relax, but you keep the fist, and then they relax out, even though you can't see it, but tight and then relax. Then she could feel, oh, this is what relax feels like, because all she knew was tense. All she was doing was tense. And so this activity without the pencil helped her to see, okay, this is what mommy means when she says relax, because she's like, what do I do? She's trying to figure out, like, all right, do you want me to meditate? Am I doing some yoga? Why do you keep telling me to relax? And so helping her see what it meant for her muscles to relax was really, really good. And so we're doing these, and all of them do something in there. We don't need every single activity, but some we do. And so using this book again. So what our schedule looks like: Mondays and Wednesdays, we do Michael Clay Thompson grammar, and we do logic of English Mondays and Wednesdays, and then all the activities associated with that. Then Tuesdays and Thursdays, and probably now adding on Fridays, we'll do Michael Clay Thompson. I didn't tell you guys why we were adding on Friday. I'm sorry. Adding on Friday because we have also what you add into Michael Clay Thompson is building language. Building language is just that. It's building words. Okay. So, and this is for their age category, but it talks about like arch, and it's basically Greek and Latin roots, but it's teaching it in kind of a fun way that isn't overwhelming. This is conversation heavy, not workbook heavy. So you talk this out with the child. It's discussion based. It's flowing into this discussion as opposed to them sitting there doing a workbook in isolation. So that's why I like it. And and then this was the teacher's manual for building language, and then this was the student book. And still, see, no workbook pages, no writing. This is all conversation based. We talk about the beauty of language. And the last one is Music of the Hemispheres. This is also Friday. So building language and Music of the Hemispheres is what we'll be adding on Friday. Music of the Hemisphere is poetry and the rhyming of words. So this is poetry. And then also in the series, this is the teacher's manual for the trilogy book. And the trilogy, let me see if I can pull my books fast. Okay, here they are. These are the 3 books in the trilogy: The Red Tide, The Rescue at Fragment Crag, and The Green Face Virus. So these are for their level. Speedster has his own level, and I'll talk to you guys about that when I do his stuff. But that is our 2015-2016 language arts. So Monday and Wednesday we focus on reading, spelling, physical handwriting, and then kind of general sentence construction a little bit. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday we do grammar, where we do Michael Clay Thompson's series. We add in our Montessori manipulatives with that as well, and do a little bit more writing, sentence construction. And for Fridays, we'll be adding in, once we get, and they tell you when you add stuff in. The reason why we haven't added in Fridays yet is because they tell you exactly when to add in other pieces of the program. And so I'm doing the program as it was designed to be done. So we'll add in building language and the Music of the Hemispheres on Fridays. So that's what we're doing for 3rd grade language arts. I hope this helps. This is Dr. J, and I'm out. Bye-bye.